Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to Fighting with Friends. It's your boy, Brother Gaia. We are back again with another preview of One Fight Night 39, which takes place this Saturday, 24th of January at 4 a.m. South African time on YouTube on Lumpini Stadium. We will be live on our YouTube channel for this fight, but for a nice watch along. It will also be Brother 80's birthday, so we will keep a nice lookout for that and a good celebration for that day. We spoiled this week, absolutely spoiled this week. I hope you're all well. Thank you for tuning in. Please drop a like, share, and subscribe to our channel. We are very much spoiled for this week. We got one Friday fights. On Friday, we have fight night the following day, and then we have the UFC the following day, and it's gonna be a banger. Before I get into this preview, fun card. It's stacked. I literally can't wait for the fights for this week. But before I get into that preview, just want to say again, big thank you to everybody, and also to let you know to keep a lookout for a little bit later today. We are going to be doing a live parlay episode where we're going to be doing our weekly parlay episode. It will be live every Wednesday, and we're going to be basically doing our picks for the week. We have a bit of a difficulty here in South Africa when it comes to one championship bets. Although we do get the bet slips, the bet insights and the spreads for one championship, but it only comes out the morning of the event. So that means for Friday fights, we'll have the line open on Friday morning. And the line will also be open for one fight night 39 as well, but only Friday. So basically, when you're gonna get our picks for those two fight cards, when you get our bet slips for those two fight cards, it will only be available for you guys to view Friday during our live watch along of one fight night 39. 139, one Friday fights 139. I will be giving my picks for this fight card for one fight at 39 at the end of the episode. Only picks. It's not going to be locked bets. It's only my most confident picks for the fight card. We will lock those picks in, like I just mentioned, on Friday morning. So keep a lookout for that. But for the UFC 324, we will be live this evening, Wednesday, 21st of January. We will be live this evening for our first 18-man segment, which will only be covering UFC 324. Getting all these numbers wrong. So many fight cards this weekend. Getting all these numbers wrong. But what I will get correct are my breakdowns and predictions, at least for some of these fights this weekend. I might not have 100% record, but I know for sure that I'm up there in the 80 percentiles for getting fight picks correct. Okay, so without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me bring it up on screen for you guys. We are going to be talking about one fight night 39, which takes place, like I mentioned, this Saturday, 24th of January at 4 a.m. We have a main event, which was basically scheduled 2 times last year, and we didn't get the fight, unfortunately. We do have it booked this time. Hopefully, touch wood. At the time of recording this episode, we still have to go through hydration and weight test, which will literally be 24 hours time, to be exact. We'll only know for sure come the end of the hydration and weight tests what these fights are going to look like, right? We'll know who we're making weight, who doesn't make weight, who's looking healthy, who doesn't look healthy. We'll know for sure. So I'm only really fully confident on my own picks after tomorrow. That's it for sure. But I've just off the bat, off paper, off past fights, the statistics and healthiness of the fighters so far, I'm making my picks based on that, not necessarily based on what happens tomorrow. But let's go straight to the main event where we have Rambolek taking on Abdulla Dayakaev. This is going to be a fun fight, bantamweight Muay Thai. If I'm not mistaken, I think it's number 4 versus number 5. This is going to be a crazy fight. Or number 3 versus number 5, number 4. But I forgot to double check what their rankings are. But I do know that both these guys are in the top 5 of their respective division. Then we go through some numbers and then some X's and O's for this fight. Rambolek is 22 years old. His record in one championship is 6 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. He's got 2 wins by KO, 2 wins by TKO, 4-fight win streak, and he beat Dmitry Koftin by first round. I think it's first round KO, second round KO. I don't know why I didn't type that in there. Let me just double check that. Second round TKO. There we go. Second round TKO. Abdulla Dayakaev, on the other hand, he's 23 years old, so only a year older. His record in one championship is 8 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He's got 5 wins by KO, 1 win by TKO, 4 5-fight win streak, and he beat Nandachai by first round KO in his last fight. And yeah, that's what we get here, guys. We've got two young studs, both knockout specialists, both power punchers, very skillful, high level young fighters. And yeah, they're on their way of becoming arguably some of the best guys to watch in 4-ounce Muay Thai gloves right now. I always thought to myself, sorry, this is a little bit off topic, but you can let me know in the comments what you guys think. But I always thought that I don't know if Abdulla Dayakaev looks the same in big gloves Muay Thai versus small gloves Muay Thai. I think the small gloves definitely favors him because he's got the power and the size over a lot of the bantamweight guys. I mean, he wants to go up to featherweight. He was talking about that on Nick Atkins' podcast, which was released about 7-8 hours ago of recording. So it's out on YouTube. You can go check it out. I might even put it in our link in our description to it, but where they interviewed him. And he spoke about this last year as well. He's looking to go up to featherweight. So he's a massive bantamweight already to begin with. He's got that power over a lot of the guys. He's even got the same patented left hook that Kiamran Nabate used to throw before he got suspended from the sport. He was knocking everybody out of that left hook. And Dayakaev has got the exact same weapon. It's how he beat Nantachai with his last fight, and Simapik knocked him out with the exact same weapon. So the dude's a beast. He's an absolute beast. He did lose to Yod IQ, by the way, who I think is a high level fighter, and it is the good style to beat someone like Dayakaev. I'm just not so sure if Rambolek's got that same kind of style, purely because Rambolek is also one of those fully filled out, tall, strong, jacked bantamweight guys. Because a lot of the bantamweight guys aren't that big, and Rambolek, Kulabdam, was it Kulabdam, Abdulla Dayakaev. These are the guys they could easily go make featherweight if they wanted to, right? Because they're quite big. So anyway, fight style stylistically, they both guys can knock each other out. We haven't seen Dayakaev get knocked out in the organization so far because if we've been realistic, a lot of the guys that he has fought are significantly smaller than him. He's just fast and stronger. Semapik, although on paper should be dangerous, Semapik has also sort of, since losing to Tawan Chai about 3 years ago, has just gone down. So I never really thought he would be able to beat Dayakaev. Dayakaev has got sharp boxing. He's fast. He's got a very good left hook going forward or backwards. Especially when he steps backwards and throws a left hook, it just ends fighters, because what happens is he throws that left hook. Normally when fighters are coming in, you don't see him throw it at the end of a combination or at the beginning of the combination. What he does is he'll stand in the pocket with you, then he'll just simply slide back, to basically allow his opponent to take up that space that he kind of offers to his opponent, and then makes them commit. They commit to a strike, they commit to a combination in that moment. And that's when he just simply slides back, throws the left hook, and most times it ends the fight. The fight that he had against Yod IQ was different because Yod IQ put the pace on him. Yod IQ didn't take a back step. Yod IQ didn't fight scared in that fight. He went toe to toe with Dayakaev and made him go 3 rounds. And yeah, that's the only time I really saw Dayakaev look a little bit like, what do I do here? This guy's overwhelming me with lots of low calf kicks and lots of movement and a lot of high volume combinations. Not a lot of powerful strikes, but a lot of volume on him. And I think that's what Dayakaev doesn't do too well, is when the fighter overloads his nervous system with a lot of weapons to think about, right? Rambolek isn't that kind of fighter. He's not a kind of guy that goes in there and overloads his nervous system with a lot of twitching, a lot of feints, a lot of pump fakes, and a lot of fast punches and kicks. Rambolek is also a guy that throws 2 to 3 punches at most, and a lot of heaviness to those punches. He wants to put you out with it. That's how powerful he is. I think in the clinch, Rambolek is a little bit better there. I think there's advantages in the clinch. I think he's got overwhelming elbows. That Dayakaev doesn't really throw the same kind of elbows that Rambolek does. If I'm not mistaken, I think Rambolek may also have the arm reach advantage. 5'8", 1.73. Dayakaev, 5'10". So he's significantly actually taller, even though there's only 2 inches. That makes a big difference. But it looks like Rambolek's got this, even though he's shorter, he's got the lengthier arm reach, in my opinion. Dayakaev, although he's so tall, he's got an interesting build. He's tall, but he's got like this stocky arms. They don't really go that far. Stocky. So I think Rambolek fights on the outside range a little bit better in terms of using that end of his punches and end of his kicks. I think he's got better kicks than Dayakaev. Dayakaev doesn't necessarily throw that many kicks because his boxing is primarily what gets the job done. It's a very, very tricky fight to sort of tip it in someone's favor. You know what I mean? Very difficult to tip in some, especially because this fighters and has had two other sort of matchups before, and it both fell out. Now there seems to be a little bit of beef between the two guys. Dayakaev saying he wants to knock him out within 10 seconds, and Rambolek is like really wants to beat someone like Dayakaev. It's been now a year in the making, and he really wants to put the end to this. So there seems to be a little bit of beef between the two guys going into this fight. Right off the bat, I can't really choose a winner because it's a fairly close fight. But if I must like put a gun to my head or put money down in a fight like this and give a significant pick for the fight, I'd say you would have to wait until the end of the episode for that to happen. But for now, the comment section is. Let me know in that comment section who you have this main event. Give me your picks on that one. I'm gonna keep it moving to the co-main event. We'll talk about some of my favorite fighters here, which is another fight. So yeah, let's go for that. But stay tuned to the end of the episode where I will be releasing my picks and justify them for this fight. Let's go. Oh, that's good water. That co-main event, we have flyweight Muay Thai, and just like the main event, we have top five contendership going on here. A winner. Oh yes, and what's at stake for that main event is potential title conversation. I know Abdulla Dayakaev was talking about interim title, which should have been for the fight, but now he's saying, that the winner here can set themselves up for a potential interim title as well because he knows that what's his name? Nabil Anan is the champion, bantamweight Muay Thai champion. But he doesn't want to fight against Nabil. So he's saying if he beats Rambolek here, he would like to go up against maybe Superlek, if that's possible. If not Superlek, then he would like to fight. I think it is Superlek that he mentioned. Superlek interim title fight. If not, then Agadi. But he says Agadi's probably gonna go up against Nabil. So and then after that fight, he would like to have Nabil move on to the featherweight. But anyway, for Rambolek, it's more of the same. A win here puts him in that conversation for a title fight as well. And if not title fight, Super League is on the cards there. So I'm all in agreement. Lots at stake for that fight there. Lots at stake. Co-main event, pretty much the same thing. I think Pong Torani, even though Asadallah Iman Ghazali did say this on his interview with Nick Atkins, which was the same interview with Dayakaev, he was saying that he's more than happy to do another fight if he beats Kong Torani. He's not, there's no rush for a title fight. He says if I beat Kong Torani, I'll fight 2 more fights after that if I have to, before fighting for a title. There's no rush on his part, which I find quite respectful, by the way, because he's only 22 years old, so he's probably thinking, there's time. And also there's no champion in that division, so he's not rushing. He's waiting for there to be a champion. Nong O, Rotang, they need to get their stuff together so they can make that fight happen, so we can get a title. It's been now a year and almost 2 years that we've had a vacant title in the flyweight Muay Thai division. So I can see why Ghazaliev is like, I'll take my time. Plus the division is pretty stacked, so I think any fight in that top 10 right now can justify a title fight afterwards, because they're all pretty much evenly matched and has done enough to put themselves in that conversation. For Kong Torani, it's the same thing. 2-fight losing streak. He's going to have to get at least another 2 more wins, particularly in the top 5, before you can have that conversation again for going for a title fight. But I mean, again, if you think about Akib Kulazada, Aslamjan Otikov, Jause, I just left the division now. So there's fights that can take place for him. He can run those fights back. You know what I mean? He could even take on Akib Kulazada next if he beats Asadullah Ghazaliev here. But anyway, let's get some numbers, and then we'll talk about X's and O's. Kong Torani, 29 years old. Record in one championship is 11 wins, 4 losses, 0 contest, 3 wins by KO, 2-fight losing streak, lost to Aslamjan Otikov by unanimous decision in his last fight. Asadullah Iman Ghazaliev, 22 years old, record in one championship is 6-0. 5 wins by KO, beat Panpayak by first round KO in his last fight. And that was actually the one matchup where I would say he took on a high profile athlete, right? Because before that, Den Putai, Muhammad Taufik. And Taufik was the only one that took him to decision, by the way. He beat Dedouan Lek. Bibir John, don't count that for much. Pet Muang Sri, beat Pekmonsi. That was actually a good win for him. There was two Terek Bao fighters that he took out. Massive 2024, 2025, another massive 2025. And yeah, beating everybody basically without only one win by decision against Muhammad Taufik. Kong Torani on the other hand was on the rise, and then his last two fights was like a bit disappointing. I mean, he lost to Nong O, who he should be beating, but Nong O proved why he's such an elite fighter. And then the fight against Asman Otikov, even though I thought maybe he won that first, he lost the first round. I'd argue he won the rounds 2 and 3, but even that 2 rounds, Otikov did a very good job at just staying safe, bro, and not really getting tagged by big stuff. And because the damage was done in the first round, he kind of won that fight. But that showed me that where Kong Torani can be found out. I'm a big fan of Kong Torani, right? I've watched him from the get go, and I thought, yo, this guy is fucking good. He's brilliant, and he can become a champion. I want to see him get more knockouts. I want to see him take more risks. Because a lot of the fights that he has in the one championship, but I've watched, doesn't take many risks. He just he's not plays it safe, but like he beats you up. He makes sure that he outscores you. And I want to see him sometimes go for shots that's like shot Indian, shot Indian kind of punches and kicks. Because when you watch him fight, right, you can see the look in his eye when he's fighting. He's trying to just make sure that there's no round that you gotta beat on him. That's how he fights. It's like he schools you, and he does put a lot of venom in his shots, but it's usually just to like make you aware that I'm stronger than you and I'm gonna keep you here and you need to be careful because I can knock you out, kind of thing. But he doesn't actually get the knockout. So with that southpaw stance, I want to see him take more risks, be a little bit more aggressive with that body kicks that he loves to throw from the southpaw stance, even attack the inside leg, because Iman Ghazaliev is not going to necessarily stay in one stance, right? If you watch his fights, he's so dynamic. The carve kicks, the spinning kicks, the switching of stances, the unorthodox punching that comes from different angles, the elbows that he throws, and the ability to not only stay in one position, he strikes from different positions. You think Otikov was intense? Iman Ghazaliev is exactly the same, but taller. He's got the same footwork, he's got the same confidence and ability to make you miss and make you fight backwards the whole time. And Kong Torani loves to fight backwards as well, but he doesn't win when he fights backwards, right? So it's a tricky fight for him. And I want to be confident in saying that Kong Torani wins this fight because he can. Right? We haven't seen Iman Ghazaliev in trouble. We haven't seen him fight through adversity. Everyone that he's fought in the one championship so far, he hasn't struggled, right? Pet Muangsri, first round KO. Bob Birjon, first round KO. Daddy One Leg, first round KO, who doesn't really get knocked out, by the way. Muhammad Taufik, which he fought 8th of February last year, went to decision. I'll come back to that fight. It's a very important fight. Then Putai, second round KO. Panpayak, first round KO. So in his 6 fights in one championship, he was not tested. And even against Muhammad Taufik, right, the only test that he had in that fight was because he couldn't knock him out. But he was beating the shit out of Taufik in that fight. Like, beat the shit out of him. But Taufik didn't go down. Taufik didn't give up. He kept fighting back. He kept standing on his feet and he kept staying in the fight. So even though he went through 3 rounds with Taufik, he wasn't tested in that 3rd round. Taufik didn't put him down. Taufik didn't hurt him. Taufik didn't back up Asadullah. So we don't have a lot of tape. We don't have anything to really go off to say what Asadullah looked like when he's going through adversity. Now, if I put Kong Torani against any one of those fighters that I just mentioned right now, I think he beats them all. I don't know if he knocks them out the same way Asadullah does. I think he beats them all. Even Panpayak. I just want to know from you guys in the audiences to convince me that Kong Torani has got the exact weapons or game plan to put Asadullah Iman Ghazaliev in danger. Can he put him through adversity? Can he bag 2 of those 3 rounds? I don't think the fight's gonna get ended early. And if there is gonna be a finish in this fight, I probably think Asadullah knocks out Kong Torani. Kong Torani has never been knocked out, and he's fought against the best guys. He even fought Superleg, and none of them were able to put him away. So he's hard to knock out, right? But you can beat him. You can take rounds from Kong Torani. You can do it. You've seen a lot of fighters do it already, right? I just want to know, can Kong Torani land the right punch, elbow, knee, or high kick to actually put Asadullah in adversity and make him struggle? To be quite honest with you guys, I actually struggle and it hurts me. It's painful for me to even say this. I just don't know if Kong Torani can do it. I think he can beat Asadullah on being perfect for 9 minutes. You know what I'm saying? For 3 rounds, he's gonna have to make sure that he's so accurate that he's making Iman Ghazaliev miss. And he's landing more significant shots than him. That's maybe gets like a round where you're like, oh, he actually put Ghazaliev through. Excuse me, put him through some shit, right? If you can do that, I think he wins the fight. But I don't see it happening in the first round. Maybe if he gets through the first round, I can see it happening in rounds 2 or 3. But the way Otikov was able to dance around him and make him miss, I think Ghazaliev does the same thing here, guys. You got a different opinion? Let me know. I know I gave you guys one of my picks now. It's the last time I'm going to do that. But this fight has got a lot at stake, and I don't know if I'm going to see a finish here. I know Abdulla wants to get the finish. I don't know if we're going to see a finish in this fight, just because it's a high profile fight. So we don't really get knockouts in those high profile kind of fights. But it's going to be a fun one. I got a feeling, because I can't think of a fight that Kongtorani has been in, and he's been boring in those fights. If you can think of one, let me know. But also give me your thoughts about that co-main event. For now, I'm going to keep it moving to the next fight. Let's fucking go. All right. We have welterweight MMA. We have Isi Fitikefu taking on Chase Mann from the United States. This is welterweight MMA, and I'm going to give you some stats about this fight. Isi Fitikefu is 33 years old. His record: 1 championship is 2 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He has 1 win by sub, 2 fight win streak, beating Hiroyuki Tetsuka by unanimous decision in his last fight. Chase Mann, on the other hand, is from Arkansas. 29 years old. His record is 6 wins, 0 losses, 0 contests. I think he also has 4 wins on his amateur scene. So he's technically 10-0. 2 wins by KO, 2 wins by sub. Fought on the LFA scene. I think he also fought on the Attitude MMA fight promotion. Seen some of the tape of that fights as well. And yeah, interesting guy. Interesting fight. This is his debut in 1 championship. So I think he's going to get a very interesting opponent here. They both kind of blueprint is the same based on the tape that I've watched, right? So Isi Fitikefu, we've watched him fight in 1 championship, right? Bulldog-like approach, short, stocky, powerful, aggressive wrestling, can tap you out, can knock you out, good ground and pound. Striking, it's okay. He's not uncomfortable on the striking department, but he's also not the most competent. At least from my perspective, when I watch Isi Fitikefu fight on the feet, because he's such a beastie of a man, he's got such a specimen of a man. When he lands a shot on you, it's taking you out. It's gonna put you down because he's got a lot of punching power, right? But it's not the sharpest boxing. It's not the cleanest technique, right? He's just throwing it wild and making sure that if this lands on you, it's gonna put you out. And I'm not sure if you guys have watched Dan Hooker's Backyard Brawl series so far. He's got, I think there's 3 or 4 tournaments that he's done so far around the region of Australia, Tonga, New Zealand, Fiji. Those guys, they all competing in those backyard tournaments, and if you watch them fighting, there's a tendency for all them they all look like these big rhinos of a men, and they all just wail on you, right? Not the sharpest technique, but they just slug it out, and they know for a fact if they hit you with one of these shots, it's gonna put you out, right? And that's what he relies on. But don't make that mistake. What I'm saying, he's still a very dangerous fighter, and particularly when he gets the hands on you, where it's a punch or where he's taking you down, it's not an easy fight. It's not an easy fight for you, right? I think the only loss that he's got was against Ruslan Amil Bekulu, and Ruslan. Pardon me. I don't know why I haven't seen him fight in a while, but that was a good fight for him. Anyway, since then, Fitikefu has gone on a good day. Chase Mann, undefeated. He reminds me a bit of Chad Mendes, but in the welterweight division, just a bigger Chad Mendes, if you will. Like good, strong boxing. Not like, again, sharp boxing techniques where he's working double jab right hands or throwing into a right left hook, then the right again. Nothing like that. Just like similar to Isi Fitikefu. Just they know they got this rock hold. And if I just throw a left hook or a right hook out in the open, when you're coming in close, it could knock you out. That's how he actually got his last win at the Attitude fight promotion. He got I think it was 6th or 3rd round knockout. Left hook finished him, and he even surprised himself. He was even like, "Oh, I actually knocked this guy out." Because primarily, what I've watched in that fight was that Chase Mann likes to grapple. He's a grappling guy. He's aggressive. He goes forward. He puts the head on you. All American wrestling gets you down and starts to get the ground and pound going, right? that's his bread and butter. But that's also Fetikifu's bread and butter. So this fight could result in a stand-up fight. At which point, I actually don't know who would win that battle there. I think they're kind of fairly even when it comes to the striking department. It's British choice if you think about it that way, because they got as very similar. You could even put a 3D model of the two of them together and let them fight, and you will notice that the style and technique is almost identical between the two guys. I will say that Chase Mann does tend to mix up the striking and the grappling a little bit better. With Feti Kifu, it's either we're going to strike or we're going to grapple. It's not like he's not going to chain the two together, mix it up, and make it a bit difficult for his opponent. It's either I'm going to take you down and smash you there, or we're going to stand in box and I'm going to look for my knockout here, right? With Chase Mann, he's the high pressure, get you up against the cage, shoot for a double leg or a single, get you down, smash you there. If you get back up, it's fine. We're going to box, shoot again. And he's going to rinse and repeat that technique a lot, because that's what I got from the tape. And I feel like that can be a big problem for Feti Kifu. It really can, considering that he's not, I would say privy, but it's also how he lost to Amil Bek Ulu. It's the same way how he lost that fight as well. So let's see how this goes. I'm not going to really give much of a pick for this one, to be honest with you guys, just because it's a Chase Mann. That is a bit of an unknown factor for me. I just going based on watching his past fights tapes to see what his technique is like, and it still hasn't given me the confidence to say he's going to beat Feti Kifu. And watching Feti Kifu's 3 fights in one championship, I don't have the confidence either to say he's going to beat him. Because I like Feti Kifu, but I've seen him get tired. I've seen him get a bit sloppy as the rounds go on. I've seen him sometimes look a little bit confused as the rounds go on. Big man, big muscle, lots of lactic acid gets to him after 5 minutes. So it changes the dynamic of the fights, where Chase Mann looks like he's a little bit fitter, but he's a shorter fighter here. So yeah, lots of factors to take into account when you're making a bet on this kind of fight. But I'm not going to advise any of you to make that kind of pick. I'm just going to say enjoy this fight, and we'll keep moving to the next one for now. But I'm looking forward to it. Let's go. Okay, I'm just going to sip some water before I break this next one down. A lot of talk. Okay. Very intrigued for this fight. I'm very intrigued for this matchup. We have atomweight MMA, right? And we have Chihiro Sawada, who is actually ranked in the top 5 if you think about it, because she's gone on an absolute tear last year. And I would put in a strong argument that she could be in for a title shot next if she gets a win here. Chihiro Sawada is 28 years old. Her record in one championship is 5 wins, 1 loss, 0 contest, 2-fight win streak, 2 wins by sub, beating Itsuki Hirata and 18 by unanimous decision in her last fight. Her only loss came against Mangpo, who's actually no longer in the organization, by the way. And the other fighters that she beaten, high level, right? No Granjin, that was a Noel Granjin, and Jean Radziwan Shadowcat. Like that's 2 phenomenal wins in my opinion. And then beating Itsuki Hirata, who was also at one stage was in the top 5 of the division, beat her in very significant fashion, and then also tapped out Macarena Adigon, who is also a very good wrestler, a little bit naive, but a very good wrestler. And Chihiro Sawada, we don't know, she's also Olympic level wrestling, by the way. Natalie Salcedo, on the other hand, is 33 years old. Her record in one championship is 1 win, 0 losses, 0 no contest. She beat Macarena Adigon as well by first round sub. And get this, both ladies, Natalie and Chihiro, beat Macarena Adigon in the identical fashion. It was carbon copy of the exact same thing. And that's also highlighting the naivety of Macarena Adigon to get tapped out back-to-back fights in the exact same way. Kind of shows you that she either is high level or she's just absolutely pathetic. But something needs to change. But anyway, that has made this fight quite intriguing for me, because Natalie Salcedo, I don't know much about the lady, to be honest with you guys. I don't know her background. What I did gather is that she's a jiu-jitsu specialist. If I'm not mistaken, I think she also boxed a little bit, but jiu-jitsu is like her bread and butter. That's what she does. That's like her main thing, right? I think she had a record of 5-0 at one stage. So she was doing really well, doing absolutely really well. And now we're seeing her in one championship, and yeah, jiu-jitsu is her bread and butter. So that's a very good stylistic matchup here because she's taking on someone who's primarily a wrestler, right? So that means Shayla Sawada is probably going to take her down. And now we're in Natalie's world. So I'm really intrigued to see what Chihiro Sawada does. So we have typical Olympic wrestling taking on world class jiu-jitsu. Which one's going to be the better year? Very intrigued to see. Because Chihiro Sawada, I must say, I'm impressed with what I've seen in One Championship do. Like she's got aggressive wrestling, top control, and she's also sharp with her jiu-jitsu at the same time. Even though I don't know if it's the same pedigree of Salcedo's, so while I can tap you out, she has tapped women out in the organization already. And her top control, even her bottom control is aggressive. You might take her down, but even when she's on her back, it's like she's so fucking threatening, right? And she's very comfortable. She's confident and comfortable in either avenue of the fight, whether it's boxing, whether it's kickboxing or wrestling, which is better. So Wada is a really top level fighter, and the momentum is on her side, in my opinion, because she had a fantastic 2025. Right, she had one loss. That was Mengbo. It opened up, and she went on a good 2-fight win streak. And even before that, 2024 and 2023, just beating everybody, right? And still competing in wrestling tournaments as well. Natalie Salcedo, I think during the COVID period, she had a bit of a break, but she came back again and looked good. One thing I will say, the fight against Macarena Aragon, there wasn't enough in that fight for me to see what she's like. What I did gather is that Natalie was able to, not Natalie, Macarena Aragon was able to take her down very easily. Like it wasn't even a struggle for her. And one would argue that Natalie maybe pulled guard, but I think she just got taken down very easily and had to reverse quickly and look for an armbar and got it. Sawada can do the same thing, but Sawada doesn't give up submissions the way Aragon does. Sawada is a very, very competent ground specialist. So it's a very intriguing fight. I don't know who's gonna win. Yeah, I'm not too sure actually. I think if you wait a bit longer, I could give you guys a pick at the end of the episode for this one. But yeah, Chihiro Sawada versus Natalie Salcedo is a big matchup because considering where Chihiro Sawada is currently in the rankings and where she could go for a title fight. I mean, they were talking about if she wins this fight on Nick Atkins' podcast, Sawada could be facing against Ayaka Miura for interim title in April 1175. 175, yeah. Right? That's in Japan. For Natalie Salcedo, I win over Chihiro Sawada. Definitely catapults her into that conversation of fighting top 5 contendership. I don't think she get a title shot, but I think she's gonna get. If she wins this fight, she can make a call for someone else in the top 5 as well. Big fights coming up ahead for that division because we need to see a crown champion, please. But give me your thoughts in the comment section. Who do you think is gonna win this fight? I personally feel like it's gonna be an all wrestling affair. I'll be very surprised if both ladies stay and stand in box, because it's not going to favor either one of them, and it could make for a bit of a boring fight. I think on the ground, it's fair game. That will make for a more exciting fight, in my opinion. But if you've got a different opinion, hit me up in that comment section, please, chat. Let's keep it moving. Okay. Up next, we have featherweight kickboxing between Mohammed Sia Serrani, 80's favorite fighter, probably one of the most underrated fighters in the brand so far, and then Pedro Dantas, who became a bit of a favorite for me, even though he lost his opening fight. I was like, I like what I see here. So Mohammed Sia Serrani is 23 years old. His record in one championship is 8 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest, 2 wins by KO, 4-fight win streak, beating Smoking Joe Nadawood by second round KO in his last fight. Pedro Dantas is 22 years old. His record in one championship is 0 wins, 1 loss, 0 no contest. He lost to Ibrahim Dayakaev. Am I struggling with this motherfucker's name? Dayakaev. There we go, Dayakaev. And that was a good performance from him, even though he lost that fight. I was very impressed with what I saw. I thought he had a very good durability. His stamina is very good. He's still very young, but the ability to fight back, use his range, good elbows, good aggression. I love his aggression because he goes forward and he puts high pressure on you and he stays on you the whole time. He doesn't really back up, and just partially why Ibrahim had a difficult time in that fight. He won the fight, but there were moments and lots of moments in that fight where I was like, Ibrahim's struggling here, guys, and he's not looking actually good. That's not because Ibrahim was getting tired or whatever. It's because Dantas was fighting him. Dantas didn't make it easy for him. Dantas was like, you're gonna have to pay if you want to get something out of this. You need to work for your win, bro. You're not just gonna beat me. And I think that's very impressive from Dantas. He's taking on a high level fighter. That fight was also in Muay Thai. This is kickboxing. Mohamed Sisarani has been fighting primarily kickboxing, even though he switches between the two. I think he's very good between either discipline, but I find Sisarani to be actually better in kickboxing. Good stance switching. You know that he has a good straight left body kick, and he can go both, go left or right. Right. And one thing I know about Sisarani is if you get past his southpaw stance, right, which is usually the first round, then you see him switching around to an orthodox stance, and you can see him throw a bit more heavier shots coming from the right-sided attacks. And I noticed that pattern now in his last 4 fights, which is the fights where he's won, right? And I was like, you know what, Cesarani is fighting very intricately, and it's high level, and it's going unnoticed because he's taking out top-level names, Kaito Uno, you know, excuse me, Chai, right? Smoking Jonara with Liu Mingyang, Smoking Joe. You know what I mean? He's beaten champions, by the way. You know what I mean? Avatar, another big name. So I think we need to start putting some respect on this guy's name. And look, it's going to be a fight that is going to get tested. A lot of those other fights, Sisrani fought like he had nothing to lose because he's taking on guys who were supposed to beat him, right? All those names I just mentioned now were supposed to beat him. And you could see it that he fought with this air of zero pressure. I'm supposed to lose here. So, you know what I mean? I've got nothing to worry about. He fought that way. Whereas in the other guys that I just mentioned, Smoking Joe, Kaito Uno, Sitacha, all of them, they fought a little bit like they were frozen. It's like, you know, I have to prove something here. And it made him almost fight like they were holding back a little bit. And Sisrani fought like he didn't have to give two flying shits. He's like, I'm just going to beat all of you. And make it look easy. And he did that, right? So I feel in this fight, he may get tested here. And it's not because he's fighting someone really, really high level, but he's fighting a fighter that is not fucking scared. Go watch Pedro Dantas' fights. He fights a fight style where it's like, it's like we're fighting, bro. It's not a fucking game. I'm gonna go in there and I'm gonna take your life kind of mindset. That's how he fights. He's so freaking aggressive, right? And Muhammad Sirani when I watch him fight, there's two things happens. He either fights with an air of I don't have to worry about anything, or he fights with an air of I'm better than you, and he's very cocky. And one of those two things that I've noticed in Sirani's fights, one of them gets him wins and one of them gets him losses. One of the where he loses is the one where he fights with I'm better than you energy. Those fights where I watched him fight, he's so cocky that he actually gets tagged, gets dropped. That was against Shadow. One of them was against Shadow, and I was like, "You're too cocky here." And Shadow put him out, and I was like, "You see?" And I think he might have grown from that a little bit because now he's fighting with a little bit more poise and a little bit more selection and a little bit more of this not only dynamism, but he also chooses his shots really well, right? So, but I don't know which energy he's going to come in with. If he comes in with an energy of cockiness because it's Pedro Dantas, I think he might have a rude awakening. But if he fights like he's fighting for a title shot, right? And he's fighting to prove to himself that he's that good. I think he beats Pedro. But Pedro doesn't really back up. Pedro has also got range and he's tall and he fights with that range extremely well. It's going to be kickboxing, not Muay Thai. And I think that gives Muhammad Sisrani the edge. But again, give me your thoughts in the comment section, guys. How do you think this fight plays out? I'm super excited for this fight because I'm a fan of both guys. And if I know what I saw from Pedro in his first fight, and we know what we get from Muhammad Sisrani, you can bet them a lot of money that this fight's going to be one for the fans. So give me your thoughts in the comment section, please, guys, while I keep it moving. Okay. Right, up next we have two One Championship debutants and Jiu-Jitsu royalty. We have Helena Kreva taking on Taisha Nolani Ola from Hawaii and Alo from Hawaii. And I don't know if I heard this correctly, but you can let me know in the comment section. You guys can correct me in the comment section. But I watched tape on Taisha, and I think that Elena and Tisha may have been teammates before representing the USA flag. I stand on the correction, but I think they may have been teammates. I also know that Elena Kreva is currently ranked number 1 in the 145-pound division in the world when it comes to women's jiu-jitsu and in that grappling class. She is massive. I'm going to say this now. When I saw the announcement for this fight a few months back, and I wasn't sure of who they were, and then I'm gonna go look up a little bit of Elena Kraver. I'm gonna say this now, and please, world, don't take any offense to what I'm saying. But I was shocked what I saw. I was like, is she really 145? Is she really 145? She's massive. She's a big woman, powerful, strong. Looks like she's got genetics that's just like I don't think anyone's gonna beat her. And she's young. I think she's like 22 years old or 21 years old. She's freaking young. You know what I mean? She's gonna be a monster. She's just gonna go down as like undefeated. And no one's ever gonna beat this lady when it comes to jiu-jitsu. Like nobody. No one's gonna beat her. It's like a bit of the Ronda Rousey judo era where like no one's gonna fucking beat this woman. She's just way, way too good. Now she's taking on Tisha, who's also multiple champion in jiu-jitsu, world champion by the way, and also looks to be a good 145 pounder, but not the way Krava is. Krava's like 145 on a fight night on weigh-ins, but then like 160 on fight night. She looks like that. She just looks like no one's gonna be able to move this lady. And then Tisha, I'm not gonna sit here and talk to you guys about X's and O's and who's gonna be the better jiu-jitsu practitioner here because I don't know that. I can't confidently tell you who's gonna be the better one on the night in the two of them. Sorry, my phone's just no, I can't hear myself. Um, Hard for me to say who's actually going to win on the night, but if the hype is the hype and what's justifying the hype, we should expect a good grappling match here. Elena Krav, I've watched the invitationals on the UFC. She's deadly. She's strong. I do believe that her sort of her trump cards or her keys to her victory in a lot of the fights is her power. She just looks like all the women I've seen so far that competed with her. When she grabs you, it's like it's end game. You're not going to get away from her grabs. You just from her locks. Once you're in her clutches, usually in her clutches, guys. You're gonna be stuck there. And Tisha, I know she's been rolling with Craig Jones. I've seen some tape with her and Craig Jones, and that's a good jiu-jitsu coach to have in your camp. Right? Good lessons that he can teach you. It's obviously high level as well. But I just think that the sheer physicality of Elena is just gonna be too much for Tisha. Tisha, I'm saying her name right. Tisha. Yeah, I think she's phenomenally a good submission grappling specialist, but I just think the physicality of Elena is going to be something that's going to be the factor in this fight. That's going to be the big factor in this fight. In terms of if Elena Kraver was not that physically superior to everybody else that she fights against, then we would see more even fights. But I think because she's such a physically imposing person, it's difficult for these women to keep up with her and get around whatever she puts on you. So, yeah, give me your thoughts in the comment sections, please, ladies and gentlemen, about that fight. I'm sure there are more of you that have been tuning in and know a lot more about those two ladies. And you can give me a more encouraged pick for that one. Remember, on Friday fights 139, we're gonna be live and we'll be talking and releasing our bet slips on that Friday fights cards. Like, release our lock bet slips for this fight card on that Friday fights live. But for now, we'll keep it moving. Let's go. Okay, up next we have strawweight MMA. We have South Africa's finest, Bokang Masunyane. Let's go, Bokang, taking on Ryohei Kurosawa. Ryohei Kurosawa. And let's be frank, this fight is obviously top 5 contendership. Bokang is still ranked in the top 5. He's pretty much 1 or 2 wins away from a title shot again. I think he's very close to it. Whereas Ryohei Kurosawa just arrived. He had 1 good win against Jason. But yeah, a win over Bokang can catapult him for sure. He bypasses fighters like Hirobu Minawa, for example. Yamakita as well. Kaito Yamakita, he bypasses all of them if he gets a win over Bokang here. So let's talk about some stats and X's and O's. Bokang Masunyane, 31 years old, recorded 1 championship, 4 wins, 3 losses, no contest, 1 win by KO, 2 fight losing streak, lost to Sanzar Zakirov by unanimous decision in his last fight. And that was a fight where Bokang actually went up in weight, so the fight didn't really mean much in my opinion. Ryohei Kurosawa is 32 years old. He's record 1 championship. He's 1 win, 0 losses, 0 no contest. Beat Jason Moralpes by unanimous decision in that fight. Just out-grappled him, right? And that's what Kurosawa's vibe is, right? If you watch, I think he fought in Ryzen as well, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, he's primarily a ground and pound guy. He's a wrestler. You could see in that fight against Jason Moralpes, he didn't want to strike with Jason. Jason was too tall, too fast, too slick, and he hated that. So he just took him down early, kept him there, just dominated him on the ground for 3 rounds, right? Bokang, on the other hand, he's hard to keep down. Even Sanzor Zakirov, who's a high-level grappler, and Mansour Malachiev is also a very high-level grappler, didn't really have a very good job at out-wrestling Bokang. They beat him questionably, but Bokang is just a tough dude to beat, guys. He's a hard guy to hold down. He's a hard guy to catch because he's so fast. He's a sharp striker. I think the height of Bokang sometimes is a bit limiting to him. He doesn't really get a lot of knockouts because he can't really let the high kick reach there. His boxing is very sharp. But I think Bokang's overall MMA game is what makes him win fights, right? Meaning that he doesn't really get tired, right? He can wrestle offensively, defensively for 3 rounds quite easily. He's got a very good grappling game, meaning that it's almost Dagestani-esque if you think about it. Like he's just a tough guy to take down and a tough guy to keep down if you do keep him down, because he scrambles all the time and he can take you down quite easily. He's very quick in the striking. That's why Sanzor Zakirov had to wrestle, because Sanzor Zakirov was like, I can't catch this guy. He's too fast. He's too slick. And he had to force the grappling exchanges the whole time. Now, Kurosawa, his bread and butter is grappling. I don't know if that's going to be the way to win Bokang here. Even though that's how Bokang lost his fights, but he lost against Malachiev in a very questionable manner. And Sanzor Zakirov is 2 weight classes technically ahead of him, even though it's 1 weight class above. Zakirov is a big flyweight as well. And even he was like, yeah, that was a tough fight against Bokang. I don't know if Kurosawa beats Sanzor Zakirov. I don't know if he beats Malachiev either. I wasn't that impressed with what I saw. He's got good ground and pound. But Jason Moralpes, to be quite frank, once you get him down, it's easy to beat. It's only when you stand up with him you struggle. So, yeah, tricky fight for both guys. A lot at stake, because a winner here can make a very strong argument for a title shot next, or at least for number 1 contender shot next, considering that Joshua Pacquiao is back in the division. What's his name? Malachiev is probably going to fight Joshua Pacquiao next. And then we have Jared Brooks, who's now, he lost now back-to-back fights. He's going down the rankings. You might have to rematch the winner here, which will most likely be Bokang, in my opinion. Or you will have to get the fight against Ryuhei Kurosawa. But to see, but I feel like the winner here is probably going to get the Monkey Guard next. Give me your thoughts in the comment section about this fight, and who do you think is going to get the job done. I am working on trying to get an interview with Bokang Masonyane. Won't get it in this week, so I'm hoping that he wins, and we can get a post-fight interview with Bokang on our channel. So keep a lookout for that, guys. All right, let's keep it moving. Next fight. Okay, up next we have Vladimir Kuzmin taking on Mohanad Batbuti, the Iraqi MMA practitioner. This is featherweight featherweight Muay Thai MMA, Muay Thai. So let's get through some stats, and then we'll talk about some X's and O's. Vladimir Kuzmin is 28 years old. His record in 1 championship is 4 wins, 3 losses. He 0 no contest. He beat Stefan Kurodi by unanimous decision in his last fight. That was a good performance by him, by the way. Mohanad Batbuti is 23 years old and he's making his 1 championship debut. Anonymous online, looked him up online. Difficult to find any information on him. I did find out that he might be coming from the training camp with Mustafa Al-Takriti. So that's good information to know, because he comes from a very good gym as well. So let's see what this looks like. I honestly don't know what more I can give you guys on this fight, other than that it's going to be a tough debut for Mohanad, because Vladimir Kuzmin is a very good fighter. Like, he's had a bit of a roller coaster career in 1 championship of winning and losing, right? But let's be honest, he's fought some top names. That's Stefan Kurodi. He beat him. Lost to Suwa Black. No shame in that. He beat Zafar Siak, who's a very good fighter, by the way. He also beat Fabio Reis, very good fighter. Lost to Jonathan Agri by majority decision. Lost to Muang Thai Alba Zombie by split decision. So two close decisions against top names. Right, then he beat Chris Shaw as well. Another big name. So let's give Vladimir some respect, considering that the fights that he had that created the roller coaster career are champions, guys. It's difficult fighters to go up against. So I give him a lot of respect for taking those kind of fights, and you know what that does. Iron sharpens iron. So losing against those top names can only make you a better fighter. Even Stefan Karodi, up and down career, but a very good Muay Thai fighter as well. And Vladimir beat him in good fashion, right? So I think you have to wait for my answers at the end of this fight, end of the preview. Let's keep moving to the next one. Okay, our last breakdown and preview of this fight card, which will also be the opening fight of the fight card. We have Carlo Bominang taking on Marcos Aurelio. Right, this is bantamweight MMA. Carlo Bominang is 31 years old. He's record in championship is 7 wins, 2 losses, 0 no contest. 2 wins by KO, 2 wins by TKO, and he's got 2 wins by KO. No, 2 wins by KO, 2 wins by TKO, 2 wins by sub. And he lost to Albek Alishov by second round sub in his last fight. And that was Albek Alishov is a very good fighter. Top level grappler. Young, but top level grappler. He lost to Enk Ogle. So that's the only 2 losses that he has, the current champion. Everyone else, he beat Chayan Urzak, who is a monster, by the way, and he beat him. And that's a top win. Marcos Aurelio, I'm not too familiar with the guy. I'm not gonna lie. I went to go type him in on YouTube. I saw tape of a fight with the exact same name. And this guy was a capoeira specialist, but he looked to be a little bit older. So I don't know if it's the same guy. I'm not familiar with the style, but I went to check out Marcos's typology. His record: 8 wins, 0 losses, 0 no contest, 4 wins by KO, 2 wins by sub. So that's he has like 80% finishing rate. It's very good. It's very high. He's only 21 years old. It's top level stuff. He's a KO specialist, as you can see. Carlo Minaang is an MMA guy, so he can go and take you down and do things on the ground to you. He can KO you, he can TKO you. He's a high level fighter. He does get tired as the fight goes on. We've seen the fight against Albek, where he put a lot of pace on in the first round, but then didn't have anything in the second round. But very skillful fighter overall, and I think he might get the job done here. To be honest with you, I think Carlo Minaang will get the job done here. Give me your thoughts in the comment section. Now we're gonna talk about. I don't know why I just did it. We're gonna talk about my picks for this fight card, and it will most likely be our locks for this coming weekend. So I'll bring up parlay number 1, which is, to be honest with you, it's my most confident picks. Let's go through them a little bit. Right. So on screen right now, you'll see parlay 1. It's my most confident picks on this fight card. Beginning with Carlo Bominaang, I think the experience, the overall MMA style that he has is going to be a problem for someone who's a knockout specialist, right? So Marcus is a knockout specialist, which means he likes to strike. I think if he gets taken down by Carlo Bominaang, he's going to get controlled and lose the fight from maybe either points or get submitted there. So that's my for sure lock. Then I've got Vladimir Kuzmin. I think he beats the young man in Mahana Butbuti. Then I've got Bukang Mosinane. Let's go, Bukang. So just because I think overall MMA is the better fighter, especially when Kurosawa's main style or his main threats are grappling. I think that's where he's going to get caught by Bukang. Bukang is just the guy you can't grapple with, to be quite honest. He's just going to scramble all the time. And striking-wise, he's very sharp and safe and hard to hit. And he can tag you all the time. So I've got Bukang for the win there. I think there's just far more pros than there are cons for that pick. And then finally, I've got Mohamed Sisirani beating Pedro Dantas. Just because Mohamed Sisirani, again, iron sharpens iron. He's fought against champions and former champions. And for me, that makes him a better fighter. And I think Mohamed Sisirani also believes, and I think he knows that fighting for a title is on the horizon. So I think he can see it. It's like he knows it's there. And I think he just needs to keep winning fights. And Pedro Dantas is another guy in the wake here where he can solidify his title run. Pedro Dantas, on the other hand, is going to make it tricky, but I am confident that that's going to be my for sure picks there. Then I've got parlay number 2, which is also confident but less confident. And again, Pokang, you know why I went to the Pokang, and you know why I went to the Bominaang as well. But then I also included the Mehdi fighters on top. I included Asadullah Imangazaev, and the reason for that is because Aslam John Otikov displayed weapons and styles to beat Kongtorani. And Kongtorani, how you beat him is that Kongtorani is a methodical fighter, meaning he's not so it's not high pace. Every second he's doing something to you. Kongtorani is a fighter that takes his time and he's selective and he chooses shots and by doing that he's giving up moments in the fight where his opponent can take control. Right? Asadullah doesn't allow you to take control. He fights in control all the time. High pace stays on you, switching up stances, becoming dynamic, and just being very unpredictable. And that's something that's tricky for Kongtorani. He struggled with Aslam Otikov for that. I think Asadullah is, in my opinion, fights like Otikov, but with a little bit more danger. In the sense that he's got more poison in his shots. Like, if he hits you, you're down. You know what I mean? And that's the threat here. And I think, and he's significantly taller. So it's going to be a tricky fight for Kongtorani. And that's why I got Asadullah. But my heart is on Kongtorani to win. I want him to win. But I just can't see him winning the fight. And then we have Rambolek, Abdulla Dayakaev. Same thing. I want Rambolek to win just because I don't like the cockiness nature of Dayakaev. But Rambolek, unfortunately, in my opinion, I don't know if he's got the style to beat him because Rambolek is also a fighter that is selective with his shot choices, very, very methodical, not a lot of high volume, but high pressure, not a lot of high volume. Whereas Dayakaev is like Iman Ghazalaev, where they're so crafty on the front foot and on the back foot, devastating power, sharp boxing, aggressive. And you have and Dayakaev also doesn't necessarily allow you to be in control of the fight. He kind of eliminates that all the time. You have to take a page out of Yod IQ's book to know how to beat him, and that's to obviously attack the legs, lots of high volume, and never really giving up any spaces in the fight. You also have to keep your defense very high because what Yod IQ does really well is that he never really gives up his guard. Watch Yod IQ's fights, he never really drops his guard. He always keeps his defense on point, which is why he never really loses fights. So that's my second parlay, and we're gonna lock this picks in once the line opens up on Friday morning. So keep a lookout for that, guys. But that is my time, ladies and gentlemen. Speaking about parlays, if you are tuning in a little bit later, we are going to be doing our live first episode of the year for Betting Man segment, where we're going to be talking about our parlays for the week. But this week we're going to be covering UFC 324 because those lines are out already. So we're going to be talking about our picks this evening. So keep a lookout for that. And for the remainder of the week, tomorrow I'll be doing a one fight night 139. There we go, 139. I'll be doing my previews and picks for this fight card tomorrow. I'll also be talking about what's going to happen at the weigh-ins for one fight night 39. So then we will be live Friday for this fight card you see on screen right now, and then we also will be live for fight night 39 on Saturday, and then live again on Sunday for UFC 324. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. From myself and the Fighting with Friends team, have yourself a fantastic week, and we will catch you on the next one, everybody. Cheers.